Let's get hype.
All right, I'm back. Sorry it took so long.
Hmm.
I almost tripped and fell. Killed myself. We sound good. Thank you, sir.
Mm,
All right, cool. Yeah, let's have a good day, man.
we will.
Hello, and welcome to episode 264 of the Super Weapon Podcast, most overpowered podcast on the internet. It's your boy, Darius the Artist, and as always, I got my co-host DC here with me today.
Oh, it's the Neapolitan Hobgoblin, aka DC, and we're going to have a goddamn good time today. We are going to have some fun. We're going to play some video games. We're going to talk about the business of video games. We are going to entertain you on this beautiful. I don't know what it is on your part of the world, but down here it's a little beautiful, baby. And if you're up north getting snowed in, hey, get some hot cocoa, turn that fireplace on, turn that super weapon on, and let's have a jamboree in this soiree.
Yes, indeed, man. Welcome in, guys. We hope you guys are having a good week. Been a bit of a busy one for me in DC work-wise. But we're happy to be here, man. I will say that it's finally, as he celebrates, if you guys are not watching
This
the
my
video
baby.
version, make
Baby
sure you guys
child.
check out our YouTube, please. Or come to the live stream of the podcast. Like I said, we record live every Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Darius the Artist. But yeah, it's been I don't want to say like a quiet week compared to the last few weeks of gaming and where things look like they're potentially going. It looks like we are heading towards some interesting territory with the big three, as you call them, and unfortunately EA. And those would be the two things we're talking about, man. I figured the first thing we could tackle is this very unfortunate news from this past week that EA is laying off developers across the four Battlefield studios: Criterion, DICE, Ripple Effect, and Motive, just months after Battlefield 6 sold 7 million copies in the first 3 days.
Mm.
Um, and I can't sit here and say that I'm surprised, but I can say that I'm disappointed. We have another instance in the industry of, at the time of the first few weeks of sales, the game was performing really well. The conversation was Battlefield is back. We're back. Call of Duty's, taking a back seat for the first time in a while. EA was kind of pounding their chest about the numbers, and this was the best selling Battlefield in X amount of time, and things looked like they were looking up, man. But unfortunately, we're back at these same conversations. It's when is enough for a studio to succeed without losing people. After a project ships or launches, and I think it's actually a lot of interesting conversation about this particular state of EA, because we haven't talked about them in a while. But were you kind of surprised by this news that they were laying off more devs after Battlefield 6 launches? I know we were kind of talking a little bit before the pod, but what are your general thoughts on this, man?
Well, I'm glad that you asked, my friend. Um, I think I had a conversation with one of the homies, Street. He's a content creator. And he does fitness content as well as gaming content. Really cool dude. You guys should check him out. I know that because he posted something on his Instagram and we had a interesting conversation. And long story short, I mean, it caught all of us off guard. And it was because of the statistics, what you said, right? You were like, it got all these accolades in the beginning. It was a brand new, fresh start for Battlefield. The numbers were astronomical. Everything was in their favor. People were tired of Call of Duty, so you had that crowd come over because they was looking for something a little more refreshing and trying something different. I feel like my
Mhm.
opinion, you know, I've had conversations in real life and on the internet with the Call of Duty community or people who play Call of Duty, and they were saying, "Hey, Call of Duty is a little stale right now, whatever the case may be." And so they was willing to try out Battlefield, and for the most part, they liked it. We
Hmm.
had all this good praise, right? And so it was like high fives and ass slaps. Like everybody was excited, everybody was happy. And to get this news was like it was mind blowing me. It was mind blowing to me. It was mind boggling. And the first thing I thought of was corporate fucking greed.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when you do good, enough is never enough. If you set the benchmark here, they're gonna move it here. And also, now that was me thinking instant. My instinct says corporate greed, but also as I sat down and thought about it, and I'm thinking about the climate that we're in, and I'm not giving EA any excuses by any means, but I feel like when you start digging into these companies and you learn more about the corporate structure and the way things are ran, this could be them bracing themselves for what can be a turbulent future. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, we're going to have to cut some costs somewhere eventually because they're looking at trends and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'm not saying this is the case with them. This is just me throwing out a hypothetical here. I'm thinking they're kind of like looking ahead and like, hey, things are going to be a little rough. So we could save money here or we could do it here because, like, at my job in real life, like, I see these things unfold. I kind of see it on that corporate level. Not saying that is right. It's a cruel world out here, man. It's rough.
Hmm.
But after what that game did, I'm just thinking I would EA doesn't have the best track record for me to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I really wish one day because my brother sits on that end of the totem pole, and I would really just maybe a side episode of just picking his brain when it comes to that.
Yeah. I
And
think
because
that would be pretty
unfortunately,
interesting. I agree with that.
yeah, because unfortunately, he's been having a tough time at his job this week. He's the person who comes to your desk with that sheet of paper. Yeah,
Unfortunate. Yeah.
he unfortunately had to let some people go this week, and it takes a toll on him. It really bothers him. Like,
I can
we talked
imagine,
about it.
man. Yeah, I can
He drinks some
imagine.
bourbon, and he tried to get his mind off of it. And so
Yeah.
I would really one day, I'm gonna reach out to him and maybe we go to his house, set up some little equipment, do just a little chit chat or something. I don't know. But back to the subject. Yeah, man. It's mind blowing to me. It's just like I really want to know what happened because at the end of the day, it sets a scary tone in the industry, right? Because it's like everybody's looking at them like, damn, they did everything right. Like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
damn. So if we make a good game, are we still like it puts so much unwanted pressure on devs to get out something? And I'm gonna just say this last point. Talk your ear off, let you get
No,
in.
you're good,
But
man. You're good. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
the last point I want to make is it's gonna drive people to play safe. And this is gonna cause a conundrum in the gaming industry because when people don't take chances, we keep getting the same games over and over again.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we keep getting the same, like right now, the big genre is extraction shooters. Someone see gold, oh, Arc Raiders, oh, look at them. We're gonna make 6,000. Everybody's gonna try to copy what they're doing. No one's going to be willing to take chances, and that's scary, and that stops innovation. You know what I'm saying? I get on my timeline, and this is why I keep my Twitter because I get so many indie games. It's so many indie games coming out that look so good,
Yeah. I agree.
and it's making me think if these guys can do this with their limited budget, I think AAA like something's going to give, man. I think the industry is going to flop on its head. I think we're going to get to a point where indie games are pretty much going to be running things, and your AAA titles, if it's not the same thing that's already out,
Yeah.
we either get copycats or we don't get nothing at all.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's going to tie into something that we're going to talk about with Xbox and where the industry is going. I'm glad. See, I love a lot of the points you made too, but I'm going to stick to Battlefield for now and kind of touch on some of the points that you made, because I think you made a lot of really strong points. You know, Battlefield, I think over the long term as well, considering the financial aspect, right? Like what you said. Because I actually forgot that when I was looking at, you know, I was doing research on this story that EA was recently acquired by a Saudi holding, some sort of Saudi company. They bought like 93% stake in EA. And I believe right now they're sitting at like $20 billion in debt. And so it could very well be, like you said, like seeing that this, you know, iteration of Battlefield 6, even though it came out the gate very strong, it was entertaining. Hell, we played a lot of it, you know, but it doesn't seem like it's going to have the sustainability that EA is probably looking for. You know, we've talked about, you know, at length about live service games and how, you know, your revenue streams are essentially how well you support your game. I mean, you know, RIP High Guard. We were just talking about that a few days ago. It shut down, I believe, yesterday or 2 days ago. It's gone.
Yeah.
45 days.
Forever.
You know?
For something that took, what, 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years, shut down in 45 days. You know, we've talked about how once you lose that initial audience, it's really hard to get those gamers back because, you know, and I do this as well, and, you know, I'm sure you do as well. You know, you'll get caught up in a game and then you'll move on quickly to the next game and you'll forget, oh man, I need to go back. You know, we always joke about our backlogs and things like that, but I think the biggest thing, you know, because I looked at some of the biggest issues that people were having with that the Battlefield community has right now. You know, it's twofold. It's RedSec and it's the multiplayer map sizes are the two biggest issues I've seen be talked about. You know, like some of the long-term fans want larger maps. You know, they don't feel like these maps are large enough. You know, they don't feel like a Battlefield map versus someone who's like casual who might enjoy this. And, you know, that's usually the majority of the player base. When a game first comes out, it starts to get word of mouth. And just like, you know, DC mentioned, a lot of streamers start playing it. So I think that kind of swelled the numbers a little bit, honestly. And I don't think that's a bad thing, you know, because Battlefield took this opportunity because Call of Duty has been having an off couple of years. I wouldn't even say just this year. I'll say an off couple of years.
It definitely has been a build-up.
Yeah, and, you know, they could have struck while the iron was hot. You know, once again, you know, mentioning RedSec, you know, I feel like RedSec just never really got off the ground. It had potential. You know, we played quite a bit of it. You know, I feel like we have
I enjoy it. I
know?
actually love Reds. I love it. I'd go back and
I
play
agree
it
with
now.
you. I think it's a fun game mode. You know, do I think the map is too large? I think the map is too large for the number of teams that are on it. You know, maybe if they drop 2 or 3 more teams, maybe, you know.
You find yourself in small circles and there's still like a lot of action going on.
Yeah, you know, you don't really find, unless you know, hot drop on someone, you don't really find, you know, a team, you know. So it's that, and then the whole esports angle, you know, we could talk about that too. How they were coming out of the gate wanting to support esports, and, you know, I never thought of Battlefield as the esports game. I don't know if people feel differently or if you do.
Their multiplayer maps, I don't think is built for esports.
Yeah,
And then
you know,
with destruction, you add that layer of destruction onto, because most, like when you get like a Call of Duty like esport, it's kind of like the 3-lane map.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like that 3-lane.
Yeah, it has a lot better watchability. You know, I'm somebody who still watches esports a lot, even though I don't play Call of Duty anymore. I still watch all the pro matches. There were some last night that were really, really good. I've been watching the CDL, and I think that's a really big portion of a game's success, especially if it's people who are casual and don't necessarily watch that particular esport, but you're trying to bring in more audiences. That can always be tough. And I don't see how Battlefield could have been this major esport, but maybe they had plans for it. We just never saw them. That's another thing. EA committed four separate studios to this game, and that still wasn't enough for them. And you kind of have to wonder, or at least I do, man, where does Battlefield go from here? Is this going to be another situation like they did with Dragon Age? Because I think Dragon Age has been put on the shelf forever. I think it's over and done with for them. And I don't know about you, how you feel about that, because I know you've played Dragon Age a lot more than I have. But I feel like it's done. I don't feel like we'll see another Dragon Age game anytime soon.
And it's something that I got over the years. Like, sidebar, I've learned to play it. It's weird because I really learned how to play at first it was just weird to me with the controlling the 4 people, but over the years I went back and played it, and I kind of really got a good concept. I feel like that's what is going to happen with me with Baldur's Gate, because I have Baldur's Gate and I'm so overwhelmed, but
No,
that's
for
another
sure,
topic for another day.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw that out there. Yeah, like I feel like it's going to be a game I go back to and enjoy later on. But
yeah,
back to what you were saying. I'm sidebar.
Nah, you're good. I mean, it's oh my gosh, that's important information. I mean, I think they're at this point. I look at EA and Capcom and a lot of the similar parallels. They were both third-party publishers that had some very notable IP, and they were both at a point to where they were either going to be acquired. There were talks of being acquired, or they were still shutting down studios. Capcom was that studio like 10, 15 years ago. A lot of people don't remember that. We thought Capcom was going to be acquired at some point, but they took a different path than EA has, in my opinion, with their... They really have gotten back to their roots. And honestly, I don't know what that means for EA anymore. I don't. They've lost so much talent over the last couple of years. They've shuttered so many studios. I honestly don't know where they go from here, or if the Saudi company that owns them now is going to step in and just be like, hey, just like you said, we know these are your biggest game sellers, which is Madden, which is
FIFA.
Used to be called FIFA, now it's just FC or Football Club or whatever it's called now.
I'm never calling it that. It's FIFA forever.
And I can't. There's a third game I can't think of that probably makes them a lot of money too. Sims. Excuse me.
Sims, that's bread and butter right there, boy.
Sims make them a lot of money.
Lady base.
Yeah, so those are probably. If I had to guess, I would assume Sims is third. But just like we were talking about BioWare a little bit the other day, and I was like, man, I have zero faith that Mass Effect 5 is going to be any good at this point. This was the really kind of the nail in the coffin for me, because I remember how excited they were about this game, man. Battlefield, the developers, like they had all those developer videos, commentary. Right. Yeah, it was just, and it's just like,
rollout was like, you know what I'm saying? The rollout was impeccable. I think they did a very good job with the rollout. A lot of people were saying that it's career suicide to come out around the time Call of Duty was coming out. They didn't care. They stepped to the plate.
Yeah.
They was like, hey, we believe we have a good product here.
Yeah.
So we're not going to move it. We're not going to do anything. We're going to drop it. And this really just sets a bad precedence upon the gaming industry as a whole.
It does.
Because like I said, it's like you have a dev somewhere or a dev team sitting somewhere working on a game, and they like, y'all don't understand. To see this, like to see a game get so many accolades and then all of a sudden they're laid off. It's like, hey, what was the last game you worked on at their new interview? And it's like,
that's sad. It's probably commonplace that's a very good point too. I wonder if studios just care if your game has made it to the finish line at this point. Because, you get to
people.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because imagine someone is
it's so bad.
A developer who works in just AAA studios mostly. That's most of their career. They're probably used to these types of situations, but I'm sure a lot of devs aren't, man. And I hope that the developers who worked on this land on their feet. I don't know, I don't know. I don't think I've seen anything about official numbers, how many developers, but I mean, if they're laying off people across 4 studios, I can't imagine it's a small number of people. You know,
And also, another sidebar, something that I found very interesting. So I beat Cyberpunk last night again,
mhm.
and I noticed and I counted. This is how weird I am because I beat the game. I sat there and I read through all the credits. Yes, I sat there. Do
Okay.
you know how long those credits were?
Oh yeah, it's
It was
hundreds of.
46 minutes
Yeah, it's
and
insane.
37 seconds
I can
of
imagine it was
credits.
probably close to 1,000 people that probably worked on that game, if not more. I wouldn't be surprised.
It may
That's insane.
see 1,000 doesn't sound like a lot, but then when you're looking at names on the screen, it actually, yeah, you might have the nail on the head. I would go to maybe 1,300 if I was a betting man. I read through all the credits and it made me think about today's topic
Hmm.
because I was like, this is 1,300 people who needs to be paid.
Yeah, man. I mean,
So
you think about investment and the cost of salaries for developers in some of the
and side note,
let's call them like hotspots, or you know,
you know who name I saw in those credits?
Keanu Reeves.
Damn Kojima.
Oh
He's
yeah,
always
I forget what
somewhere.
he was. I don't think he was like super involved. I
He
can't
was a
remember.
character. He was a
Yeah, that's what it
Easter egg
was.
in the game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
In the
yeah.
beginning of the game, I never saw this. I didn't know this. So
Hmm.
that was new to me. So I'm gonna go back and try to find him now. He's in the beginning in the game at the bar somewhere. But anyway, yeah, that I was thinking like, yo, all these people have to get paid, and that's crazy. So imagine the budget for that and kind of factor that into how expensive a AAA title can get when you
Yeah.
have all these moving parts. But then you have on the other side, like Weenie said, you have um independent, you know, indie artists. It may be like 5 of them, but they managing to do more with less. And that's the key goal here. Eventually, they're gonna have to try to find out how to do more with less because greed, either that or greed is gonna kill the industry. Greed is gonna stifle or either kill the industry. That's just my thoughts. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I don't know where AAA kind of goes past this point. You know,
It has to go backwards, bro.
as
I'm telling you.
we're getting I'll say semi close to the end of this generation, and it just seems like, you know, I'll be honest and say it. You know, I think that even without COVID, we would have still have gotten to this point. You know, it probably would have been, you know, a year or two later, but I think the industry was already heading towards this direction where you have a bunch of what the main, you know, decision makers of these studios think that they have bloated development teams, and you know, maybe we can do less with more, you know. And because I have to imagine Battlefield's probably readjusting their plan for their seasons and that whole roadmap and stuff that they showed. You know, no way that's going to stay the same. There's no way it's going to be that sustainable. You know, just look at what happened when season 2 came out mid-February. You know, people said it was good. The general consensus was good, but it's that same age-old problem with live service games, is that there wasn't enough content, quote unquote.
They just need to. We'll talk about that.
You know what
We'll
I
talk
mean?
about that one full episode of live service games and what I think.
Yeah.
But
It's just at this point, what do you do?
I
Like
was
you
gonna
said,
ask
as a
you.
developer. Yeah, yeah. What's your question?
I was gonna ask you. Where d- where does Battlefield go from here? Like the numbers have dropped off dramatically. And like I said, I know you explained like some of the issues,
Hmm.
but I mean, let's put you in the hot seat. Armchair director, as you say.
Yeah,
Or
sure. Okay.
armchair dev, all right?
Yeah, okay.
What would Darius the artist do to at least try to course correct this? or do we just let it die? Like, I don't want to let it die.
No, that's the worst thing they could do. If they let this
Yeah,
game
they invested
die,
too much money.
yeah, if they let this game die within the next 2 years, then this really is. I think that really means that it's the end for Battlefield. But I think that the first thing I would do, like I said, right, reestablish what it means to get back to the roots of the franchise. I look at Battlefield and I think of it being one of the pillars of EA. It used to be, I think, neck and neck with Call of Duty. So I would figure out what it is the community actually wants from the next Battlefield. Because like I said, this was pretty good, man. This wasn't that bad. Yes, screw the menus, like Weenie said in chat. The UI
Yeah,
is terrible.
between that and Marathon, it's like they
Yeah,
high fiving and
I
slapping
don't know
asses
what it
because
is
they're
about
both their
FPS menus nowadays, but I would get back to that, man. If the player base wants larger maps, give them what they asked for, right? I would imagine that the next game is probably going to be smaller in scale, which is funny to say that with Battlefield. I think this game is going to get put on the shelf, at least until next gen. I don't think we'll see another Battlefield until like, I would say 3 years is being generous. 3 or 4 years from now is being generous, if I had to guess. I just don't see it, unless I don't see them rushing another one out the door unless they already have plans for one that's in development. But let's say for argument's sake that they do, then maybe it'll be close to a launch title for next gen. But yeah, I would figure out what, and as far as Red Set goes, I don't know what they do there, honestly. It's probably the opposite of the traditional multiplayer. Just, maybe make the map smaller or include more teams. This would be a perfect time to launch a new map, that kind of addresses some of the criticism, right? And then they could do the thing that every competitive shooter does. It's like they'll take a map out. Apex does it. They'll take a map out of rotation, rework the map, and reintroduce it, a few seasons later. Bring the hype back for that. Like, they have to get people invested in this game again, man. If this is going to be a live service game, you have to give people a reason to want to log on. Because the moment-to-moment gameplay,
man.
It's like, I think the moment-to-moment gameplay for Battlefield is good. Unless it's those moments, like you said, where you're just kind of in a blender and you're dying immediately off spawn.
Yeah, see, and I'll say this. I'll bring in part of the conversation we had pre-pod. One of my issues for a less skilled person
Yeah.
was I found that in between battles it was too far and few, but then it's like you die. So it's like you finally find somebody and then you die. I
Yeah.
understand it's Battlefield and I understand that you guys in the Battlefield world, y'all like these big maps,
Right.
but it has to, I would say keep the big maps. I'm not saying, or add bigger maps, but I feel like, I don't know. It's just like, it's not fun looking for somebody and spending a good amount of time looking for somebody and then just dying.
I agree. It doesn't feel good. Yeah.
They have to, whatever the case may be with correcting that, or just make it like, I don't know. It's something that sits right there for me
Yeah.
is what I had a problem with the game, with the multiplayer. Now the other mode,
Yeah.
now the battle royale mode, I had fun. Like, it was fun. Like, I always felt like I felt like I had a fair shake with the battles. Like, I won some, I lost some. They were well paced.
Yeah.
Not all the time, because there's been some times where I've went a long time, but that's battle royale though, right? Because battle royale, you may not see nobody for a while. It's not like multiplayer. You can't compare the two. But yeah, I think that Battlefield has to grow. I know it has its niche, and I know it has its core fan base, and of course they should please their core fan base, because the core fan base has been holding them down since day one. I get it. But also, for your game to grow, you got to kind of start thinking of ways to bring people in and retain those numbers. And unfortunately, when you put live service on the end of your game, that's the game you decided to play. Me personally, if I made a game, I wouldn't even like, even if it's quote unquote live service, I wouldn't even call it that because it seemed like it's a curse.
You know,
It seems like as soon as you put that on there, it's just like a
I
curse.
agree with you, man, but I just feel like, and this will be the last thing because we can move on to the next one after this, but I just feel like FPS games are in this weird hole that they've dug themselves in. Like, it's almost rare that I don't even remember the last time a first person shooting game that came out that doesn't have a battle pass or a season attached to it. You don't really get these self-contained arena shooters anymore.
But I don't, and I think part of the problem, Darius, is because stuff like this happens.
Right.
Who's going to try something different now after this, right?
And that's going to be my thing. Is like maybe they're looking at like, and just like you said, investment of funds for development. It's like, okay, well, we need this game to make money for a long time to make up for the amount of revenue. It's such a bad. It sucks, man. It really sucks. I thought Battlefield 6 is a fun game. I think they have some problems that are fixable. You know, I'm not looking at this like another High Guard situation or a game that is truly just irredeemable. Like, they can make a comeback. They have the resources to do so. I hope that they, you know, spin the block with this game, man, because it was fun. Like I said, it was fun the times that we played it. You know, I'm not sure about the red sec. It's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough hill to climb, especially with Apex currently making a slight resurgence back into the community. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Ooh, slight resurgence with that Gundam power. Huh?
Yeah, Apex is it's been fun for us at least to play. We'll play it until it's not fun. That's what we always say. So,
and that's what games should be. I think part of what's missing is we got to get back to video games being fun. We actually, you know what, had an amazing conversation.
Yeah,
we had an amazing conversation about that the other day. And I think I had a conversation with you about it, and then I had a conversation with some people in my friends' Discord, and we was just like, I think people are starting to see the light because everybody's
I'm gonna keep pushing that agenda, bro.
Yeah, I think you know what? I am going to give you your credit as to one of the people who spearheaded this.
I want to put it on a shirt. Make games fun again, bro. I want to put that on a shirt. Nobody steal my idea in chat, please.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to get that sentiment now. Like, yo, like this shit feels like a chore. Like, video games are supposed to be escapism. Like, you're not supposed to go in here feeling tired unless you're playing Apex or
I agree.
that other game.
You should have fun, man. Like, that's why we started this podcast. Hey, some people have fun with that. That's not my idea of a good time.
Nobody has fun playing Marvel.
I say this. People have fun playing Marathon. It's not for me. I don't see the appeal.
I love Marathon.
You're a perfect example right here. You know, you like a game that I just don't think the genre's for me. I'll say that. You know, I don't think extraction shooters are for me. I've tried 3 of them at this point, and I just kind of,
I think,
you know, I don't think they're for me, and that's okay. I'm cool with that.
I think where Marathon gets it is, I think what makes, if we were to compare the two, which is a hard comparison, right? Mm-hmm. Arc Raiders and Marathon are 2 different games, even though their genre is extraction shooter.
Yeah.
I think what Marathon does better is your like shell, aka the characters that you can pick from. They're actually, each one does something different, and as you build on that character, it gets like, it's amazing some of the stuff that you can do. And so when you're extracting, you're literally basically kind of like building up your character. Like, you're finding things for your character, and then they do better with like events.
No, I agree. What's weird about it too, this is gonna be real. I'm such a strange gamer now. I have games that I would like to watch people play, but I don't want to play them. Zelda is one of those for me. I think Zelda, and people have heard me say this on the pod. I'll say it again.
Oh, teacher bro, cover your ears.
Zelda is one of the most boring game series I've ever played, but I love the lore of Zelda. I can talk to most people who are veterans of the series about the lore and the timelines.
Teacher bro.
and I like to watch people stream it, but I don't like to play Zelda. And I think Marathon's turning into that for me because I like watching people play Marathon. But
Oh Lord.
I
Oh
appreciate
Lord.
it. Yeah. Nah, dude.
No, we're messing with you, Teacher
Yeah,
Bro.
because I
Teacher Bro's
tried,
a big Zelda guy.
and I
So
love that. That's awesome. Hell yeah, I told you the lore is actually really good in Zelda. It's pretty fun to read. So
you just don't want to play it.
I just don't.
And that's fine.
I'm okay. Maybe if they made like a Zelda show, but that's neither here nor there. As we talked about PC games and EA and everything, like I said, if anything else happens on that front, man, we'll definitely talk more about it. But let's move on. Of course, we get some more Xbox news this past week. As Xbox is moving towards gearing up for next gen. The Game Developer Conference was this past week. If you guys didn't know,
Ooh,
GDC is always a great conference. It's more so for developers and press. But I would encourage you guys to go. It is if you purchase a ticket, you can get in. There's certain events and stuff that you can't get in, obviously, because there's certain level of badges. But me and DC went. It's actually 8 years ago. It's funny. Holy cow, it's been.
Would you guys like to see some videos of that in the Discord?
Yeah. We actually. I do too. Yeah, we had a great time in San Francisco, man. We went to GDC. Met a lot of really cool developers. But either way, they had it. Like I said, Xbox had a presentation talking a little bit more about Project Helix, their next gen, the code name for their next gen console. And I think we're heading towards some interesting hardware choices for the consumer over the next couple of years. I kind of hinted at it last week, but I truly do feel like each company, that being Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox, are all going in their own direction. And I think we're slowly heading into the age of the set-top box console PC hybrid that sits under your TV. You can truly play where you want. We already have Valve and the Steam Deck, or the Steam Machine, coming out soon, apparently this year at some point. And Xbox is essentially confirmed that the next Xbox is going to be able to play PC games and console games. So we're starting to get a little bit of an idea of where maybe they think the console, the future of entertainment in your home is going. Maybe this is something that a consumer wants. I think it's really interesting. And I guess that's the first question I have for you, man. Are you excited about this at all? Are you somebody who wants your PC library and Xbox library all in the same place? Would that make it easier for you as a gamer?
Well, because it's weird, right? Because I've been saying that I've been slowly converting to PC.
Yeah.
I've been, if you guys been around here long enough, you've probably heard me say that several times, that I'm slowly converting over to PC gaming. And I don't know how I feel about this. I kind of felt like I knew this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
I knew this was coming for Xbox, and I feel like the direction that they've been going has been leading up to this, because it's like when you have money, it always comes down to money. Microsoft has a lot of money to play with. They have a lot of money. This to them is damn near a hobby at this point. That's how I feel. Like, I just feel like, I don't know, because if this thing's going to be a PC, it has to compete with other PCs, right? And I'm looking at these prices, these rumored prices and stuff.
But does it,
and
though?
I feel like,
that's another question.
Yeah, I feel like if people want a PC and they want something powerful, they're going to go just buy a PC, a regular gaming PC, not an Xbox PC.
Yeah.
But maybe the hybrid will lure people into buying it. Maybe this hybrid thing depends on how they spin it and sell it. I'm not sold on it, because I need to see the specs. I know that they put some stuff out, but
I wasn't gonna read. Yeah, I wasn't gonna read any of that.
It's probably gonna change from here till, well, let's just say the blah blah. What do you call it? I can't think of the word right now, but we'll say allegedly these are the specs that's going to come out with the Xbox. will they be powerful enough is my question, right? Like, will you get a nice, powerful machine that's going to run not only Xbox games, but you have PC games? Are they going to run them at a good level to where people is going to sway people to buy this machine? Or will people just say, hey, I'll just tack on another 1,000, 1,500 and go get a more powerful PC? Is this a cheaper PC option? Is that the market they're looking for? Is that the market that they're targeting? Like, hey, if you don't have this or you don't have this amount of money to spend, you can come just get an Xbox. Like, is that going to be their angle? Or I don't think that's going to be their angle because of their verbiage, right? They've been saying premium. This is a premium experience, premium machine. So with this premium, I'm like Dr. Evil. With this premium word, I'm looking at maybe the price being a little bit higher. Are they looking to take a loss? It's so many questions. Like,
Yeah.
if this thing gives us premium shit, but it's priced at $899, they're obviously taking a hit, which most gaming consoles do, right? They always take a hit and then they'll make their money on the back end. But I have so many questions. Like, it really opened the GDC, really, that presentation, what it did for me, it really just opened up a door for a lot of more questions, which is causing like a little mystique around this new Xbox, right?
I love it, man.
Yeah, it makes me want to learn more, which is a good thing. But at the end of the day, you're gonna have people who like it, and you're gonna have people who's pissed. We don't even talk about the console war people; they don't matter. This is bigger than that.
But the market, the console wars are changing so much, and like I said a couple weeks ago, this is the most that I've been paying attention to Xbox for a long time. We've talked at length about our issues. I will forever always get excited when there's talk of new tech or a new console. It's always exciting to see what's next. And I think you're right. I think that there is a segment of gamers who want the PC gaming experience, but don't want to sit, and I'm knocking on my PC to my left right here, a PC this size under their TV or under their entertainment center.
And y'all don't understand, that bitch is huge.
Yeah, both of my PCs are pretty large, so that's not something someone's probably going to want to lug back and forth. And I think that now we're finally starting to get to that point where technology is consolidating into what could be the next form of the great form of entertainment for gamers. And it's just like you said, right? Like because I think about price. I was thinking about that too. Allegedly the PlayStation 6 isn't going to come out until 2028 or perhaps later than that. And I was more bullish on Xbox releasing this console next year until I heard that they're not sending dev kits out to studios until early next year. So that to me, this was something that they talked about during the GDC panel. So that tells me that we may not see this console next year, which I'm fine with. We've talked about this before. I'm not necessarily looking to purchase a next gen console right now, but I feel like the consoles in the last 2 generations or so have been pretty safe and standard. We haven't seen what the next evolution of quote unquote set top box or console gaming looks like. And if Valve and Microsoft can pull this off, they're going to steal a portion of that traditional console player base from PlayStation. And I wonder how PlayStation is going to be viewing that, because like I said, at the beginning of when we started talking about this, I think all 3 of the major console makers are going in different directions. And I think they're doing it for their own reasons. Maybe PlayStation looks at PC as a hindrance to the sale of their hardware, their console hardware. Just like DC said, they're not in the business of selling operating systems. They sell TVs, they sell hardware. Sony is a hardware company, that makes software on the side. They make, gaming and some other software, but their bread and butter that they usually try to do well with is their hardware. And the first thing I thought about with this new Xbox as well, the thing that's going to sink or swim this thing besides the price is ease of use. Am I going to be able to just turn this on, and will it just be able to load up Steam, or will it take me straight to my Xbox, my Xbox console, my Xbox dashboard, so I can just play games? Or do I got to go through and set it up like an actual computer? Because that's going to turn a lot of people off immediately.
Yeah, because some people, like you said, yet again, you got that big beast next to you. When problems start happening and you start having to troubleshoot stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of people, if Xbox eliminate that factor, then I don't see how you have a PC or a hybrid PC without having the problems, me personally.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they'll have a hotline or something. You can call people and they walk you through it, or they
I just hope that's not the case, man. I mean, they did announce this. What is it?
Xbox Care, like Apple Care?
No. It's like a operating system that people will be able to try out. That's gonna be allegedly more streamlined. It's a program called Foundation Mode. Yeah, so this is what this allegedly could run on the next Xbox. Once again, they have to get this part right. I mean, I imagine that the Steam machines are going to be pretty easy to get into, or if you want to load another OS on it, I would imagine they're going to be cheaper than the next Xbox. But it's such an interesting time that we're in, man. Like like I said, I'm not mad if we don't see this next year. I kind of hope we don't. Give these studios time to work with your tech. I think that's where they messed up last time. And hopefully it's just one console, like we talked about. The Series S experiment, it's over with. Let's put that away. It's done with. Let's just get one console. Let's get one unified experience, and let's move forward that way, man. And we'll see though. It's definitely going to be interesting. I don't think this is the last time we'll hear about it this year. But I don't think we'll see what it looks like or anything. I don't expect it. I don't know about you, but let me ask you that. That's a good question. When do you think it's going to drop? When are you feeling that we'll get it?
First of all, that name's going to change.
Just call it the 7. Oh yeah, the code name. Yeah, it's always just going to be that. Yeah, just call it the Xbox
people
720.
actually, believe it or not, people actually think that that's the name. No, it's just like the last Xbox. What was it, Scorpion or something?
Yeah, Project Scorpio or some shit like that.
Yeah, Scorpio. Oh yeah, Xbox Virgo. Who knows? But
right.
Yeah. So first of all, let's start with the name. Just keep it simple. I would take it back. I would just, since her whole shtick seems to be going back and all this crap, and we're going back to what Xbox. Hey man, let's call it an Xbox. Fuck it, just call it an Xbox. Like
either that or just like Weenie said, give us the
X1X.
720. Yeah. Oh my god, that would be awful, bro.
Xbox 82B48. Like this is gonna be something crazy. Like. Because Xbox always dare to be different, so
right.
I would just say, hey, just call it an Xbox. But
no, I'm there with you. I agree.
My thing is, I think they're gonna really. I think we're gonna have a Battlefield. Speaking of Battlefield, I think we're gonna have a Battlefield kind of a rollout. And what I mean by that is how Battlefield had all the press and they was doing the interviews and everything.
Yeah.
I think Asha, did I say her name right? Did I finally get
I believe that's how you pronounce it.
I believe Asha is putting her whole foot in this all the way up to the ankle. I think she really, really got something to prove.
Yeah.
She seems like the type of lady who has something to prove. Like people down her maybe because she's a woman, whatever the case may be. Like whatever type of weirdo type of time people on, I think she's out here to set the record straight. She has a track record of doing this. I think I would actually go as far as to say, I think this is a passion project of hers to kind of, because if she gets this right, think of how it looks on the resume and everything. Like, oh, she turned the Xbox around. Oh, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying?
Be in her mid-30s too and do that. That would actually be kind of insane. Yeah, that would be insane.
Moonlight, you do have a point. The premium box. It can't be Bellcross First of all, good morning, Bell
Triple
Cross. It's always good to see you.
Xbox. Yeah, they've
Triple
been
X, no,
they've been
it
having me
can't be just
laughing.
Xbox. No, Xbox not gonna work. Xbox. Weenie, no.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, this is why I love the chat. I love you guys. I
X2
love your input.
box. Yeah, they have to
But
do something
yeah.
fun, man. Get something like, get fun or silly with it, man. I agree with you, bro.
I really wanna see what Asha's gonna do. It's
Yeah.
something about her. I don't know. She gives me like very serious vibes. I could be wrong. I'm not fooled by that smile. Like I think that she has something to prove, and
Mhm.
I think, like you said, being her age and having accomplished so much, I think this is a notch under her belt that's going to make or break her in
Yeah.
a sense. And I think she's up for the task, and it's going to be interesting to see where she takes the culture of Xbox. And like you said, man, get back to making games fun. If she hear this, I'm probably going to clip it and add her and do something. But you know, just keep that in mind as you move forward.
Let's
with the
start.
Xbox.
Yeah, let's just start a movement, guys. Hashtag make games fun again. Just put it everywhere.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
start.
yeah.
We're starting that movement, man.
You know what? I'm gonna make a sticker for that. We're gonna make a sticker for that, and we are gonna sell it.
Yeah, please.
That's what we're gonna do.
Make video games fun, man. That'd be great.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yep.
but yeah, man, I'm excited to see where this all kind of goes for Xbox, PlayStation. Nintendo's just gonna be themselves forever. But we could finally be heading into uncharted water for next gen. With all this smoke and mirrors. I hope so. I just hope it's not another repeat of this generation.
This generation was.
It's a pass. I think it's a very.
It was just fast. I wouldn't say it was ass.
No.
Generation came and went.
Yeah.
Was that the effects of COVID still?
I think so, and I mean like more so in terms of hardware. Software was kind of rough in the beginning, but I always appreciate Microsoft for taking risks.
I like that. Xbox 2. I like that. Just plain and simple.
Xbox Square.
Take it back,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
Just Xbox 2.
That's so funny.
Whatever
Let us
was in
know
between.
what your Xbox names are in the comment section of YouTube and in Discord. We would love to hear all of because the people in here now have come up with some great names, but I'm curious as well what they're going to call it. But I think, and also because we are unfortunately running out of time and I can't keep pushing these freaking ads back. We do have a question for next episode. We didn't get to talk about it today, but DC, I want you guys to think about your favorite Terminator movie, and we'll tell you why. Make sure you tune in for next episode to find out. It'll be a very, very interesting conversation, but
that's homework for y'all, chat.
That's homework for you guys. Your favorite Terminator movie and why? I want to know. So
don't say it now.
Yeah,
this
don't tell us now.
Next week. Yes. Come back next week with your answer.
Please
if you say it now, I will beat you.
But thank you guys for hanging out for episode 264, man. Another good one in the books. As we are moving through March, man, definitely want to say shout out to all the ladies of the world, man. I know it is Women's History Month. We definitely want to shout you guys out. We just passed through Black History Month. Happy Women's History Month as well from the Super Weapon family. So don't have a lot here, man. Like I said, it's been a hell of a week, but I'm glad that we were here able to record. Thankful for every Saturday that we get to spend with this community, man. You guys can find me everywhere. Darius the Artist on Twitter. Darius the Artist where he is a 3 DC. Takes home, baby.
All right, we got a packed house tonight, baby. I am loving all the Xbox names. Make sure you throw those bad boys in our gamer chat and Discord so we can remember your legacy. Because if Xbox takes one of your names, we will be doing what do you call that? A class action lawsuit. Yeah. Don't take none of our names, Asha. We know you're, I think she secretly watches. But yeah, man. So you got Terminator homework. You guys don't forget that. We are not gonna indulge on why. Just know that we need that from you. And we also, I don't know. I done ran out of wind, and that's okay.
That's all right, man. Yeah.
Happy Saturday, guys. Let's go play some games.
Happy Saturday, guys. If you guys are in chat, hang around. We're gonna play some video games, and we will see our audio listeners next week. Peace.
Terminator. I will terminate you. I will terminate you. No, get to the chopper.